Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Phantom.Strategies. So in this video I want to make a just quick short video regarding a couple of the coins that we have been monitoring for last few days. One of them already have reached their the target point and did the retracement. So if you look at Verge, this is the one we called out a few days ago, and during this breakout, and we have said that the first target point was around 0.078, and then the second target point will be around 0.09 cents. All right. The reason I have said that is because there is a significant resistance that happened. If you go all the way back to the 2017 time frame, that was the support that this coin was finding in that price level around 9 cents. So what creates support and resistance? Have you ever asked that question to yourself? What is the reason that it creates the support and resistance? Just take a step back, ask that question to yourself. What creates support and resistance? Support and resistance is nothing but it's traders' mentality of paying they're finding a value in a coin. So the resistance becomes resistance when there are not enough traders willing to pay for that price, more than price. So let's say if Verge is finding a resistance for short term at 9 cents, there are majority of this trader right now are not willing to pay more than 9 cents for Verge at the moment. What finds its support? So majority of the trader, let's say if it goes to the support of 6 cents, that tells you that hey, majority of the traders out there who are in Verge thinks that 6 cents is a fair value, or 6 cents is a good value for Verge as a coin or as a project. Okay, simple as that. Keep it very simple. I don't want to make it complicated. So the thing is, you have to absorb this information. So it makes it, and the way you can absorb it is by keeping it simple. A lot of people are new. I keep on saying that. A lot of people are new to these things. So I want to make it as simple as possible, as elementary as possible. So it's not like it doesn't sound like a rocket science. It doesn't sound like and I try to say it in a way that you can relate to your day-to-day life. Okay, that's how I try to relate to. So that's what makes it support and resistance. Support is just nothing more than people thinking there are finding a good value, and at that point, at the support level, there are people who wanted to sell it. They already sold it, and the remaining ones at that point are mainly the buyers. Same thing with the resistance. The resistance comes when people who wanted to want to take a profit out of the coin, out of this project, and they took it, and now there are not enough buyer to take it higher, more than that price level, for at least for the short term. So it might have a push higher. That's going to happen. But what I'm saying is, at the moment, at the level, you need that breathing time in order to digest those gains. All right, it's very healthy actually. It's very, when you have when it hits the resistance, pulls back, finds a support from a moving average or previous support or price point, and then it moves up. That's a very good sign that it's gonna go much further, because the bigger money, the more institutional trader or people with a deep pocket, they don't want to keep on buying this coin up and up into the strength. Those people who are buying with 100,000, 200,000 portfolios, they are waiting for the pullback. They're waiting for the pullback so they can buy it at the cheaper price. They're not buying into the strength like a lot of the retail investors, because they don't want to pay that higher price of 9 cents while they know that it will have a pullback because it's reaching to the significant resistance. So they will wait until it pulls back. They will pump it up a little bit more, and then they will buy it. And again, this all applies with whole trading with the BTC. BTC is the queen bee, remember that. And BTC price action, you have to look at, you know, the S&P 500 too. You or like in the global market. It's all related. I sound like a broken record, but it's all related. I'm going to sound like a broken record until I get this point across to every one of my viewers. Okay, so I will be a broken record as long I have to be. So, you know, bear with me if you want to or not. It's really up to you. But I want to make sure that people really get that point, that this is all related. Okay. There were some news. So let's back. I'm gonna come back to Verge real quick. But there are some news out of Africa that, you know, a lot of people in Africa are using cryptocurrencies now. Especially like a lot of African countries, their government have substantial debt, like, you know, Zimbabwe, South Africa now, like, so there are Kenya. Those countries have a lot of their governments are not very stable, and they're pretty much bankrupt. These governments in African continent, a lot of them are bankrupt because of the bad governance in the country. So people, they are very, like, you know, they wake up. So just imagine, let's say if you went to bed last night and you wake up and whatever the dollar value you had is half. It's worth half in the, like, you know, in the market. Now, how would you feel like in the global market? That's what's going on with like a lot of these African countries. They're like, you know, inflation is so high in those countries. Zimbabwe, like, you know, if you want to buy a, like, you know, loaf of bread in Zimbabwe, like, you know, it costs you like some millions of dollars, and it's Zimbabwe millions of dollars. So it's not like USD. So what I'm trying to say is, all these countries, people in those countries, like, they still live there. People have their properties there. People have their business there. People have their family there. So how do they protect their business? How do they protect their family from inflation, like this crazy inflation, or where they cannot trust the government with the money? Well, a lot of them are turning into cryptocurrency. A lot of them are turning into Bitcoin, you know, Litecoin, like all this cryptocurrency market. If you let me show you one thing. This might be something good that you'll Google Trends. So if you go to Google Trend, and just type in Bitcoin, okay, look at the country that is. So this gives you pretty much what Google Trend is a trend of the search, like around the world, where people are searching people are searching Bitcoin in their Google search. Okay, so when they search Bitcoin on their Google search, and then it tells you by the region, which region are heavily searching for Bitcoin right now. And excuse me, guess what is number one? South Africa. South Africa is the biggest region out of the whole world, where people are searching for Bitcoin because of their, like, uncertain government, because of the government, like, you know, is almost going bankrupt over there. So people don't have faith in their government. So where do they put their money? They put it in the cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, like, because it's like really, that's the key thing. So a lot of people try to compare Bitcoin with the NASDAQ, the bubble that we had, the stock market, the .com bubble we had in 90s. But please remember, the .com bubble that we had in 90s, that was a small thing. It was only based on, it was a US based bubble. Now, if you really think about the cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, yes, it can, one of these days it might burst, because there will be insane amount of people who will be getting into this market. I'm telling you, the insane amount of people. There are so many people who are just on sideline, cannot get in right now, and just will get in eventually. So you want to keep those things in mind. You want to make sure that you're, and this is going to be more of a global, it's going to be at the global scale. As long as the government do not try to interfere. They can apply the regulations, but as long as they don't interfere with how it works and how the regulations are a good thing. All right, do not get panicked by regulations. Regulations are a good thing, are up to a certain level, only up to certain levels, because you do wanna keep the people who are trying to scam you out of the market, people who are getting BitConnect, this Dever coin now, you want to have some kind of protection as a consumer, and you want to keep those scammers out of that. So those things are there for, there has to be some regulations. I'm not a big fan of all regulations, but some minor regulations should be implemented in order to just have a better protection for the people who are getting into this market. All right. So that being said, there's a lot of these African countries, you will see this African countries as more and more people start to get online and get into on internet. A lot of this country in Africa still don't have internet. All right, a lot of people in this African countries don't have access to internet, and once they start getting this access, once the news will spread. All right, this will spread like wildfire, and it will eventually. It's getting there. So when you see that, a lot of people will get into this marketplace. But what key is to how you set up your portfolio. How do you want to make sure that you are set for the nice growth portfolio, not a crazy up and a crazy down crash. You don't want that. Okay. So I just wanted to bring this really good point that a lot of African countries will be turning into the cryptocurrencies in very short term. And as you can see, South Africa is one of the how should I say, developed country in African continent, and recently they're having a lot of turmoil with the government. I think the president of South Africa is resigning. So there are some weird news coming out of it. So I don't want to comment on it right now. But there's a lot of turmoil in South Africa right now. People are putting a lot of money into cryptocurrency because they know the value of the South African currency is depreciating. So how do you protect that, right? How would you protect? Let's say if you hold USD, or if you hold British pound, and all of a sudden you find out that British pound or USD is going down and down, every day it's keep on going down 5%, 10%, 20%. How do you protect that value? How do you stop that? So you put that money into cryptocurrency like Bitcoin to make sure that it doesn't depreciate how US or any currency is depreciating in the African nation. All right, so I will do a separate video on this later, but I thought it might be helpful for viewers to look at it, but I will do a separate video on it. Coming back to I get sidetracked a lot. Sorry about that. I don't have a script, so I just want to be. I really don't write anything what I want to say. When I see things, when I analyze things, I try to say it as candid as possible. So I just try to keep it real, and I don't want to read it from a script that I wrote previously and stick to that. So all right. So on Verge, we are coming to that resistance point, so we want to see how, if we can get past that. The only problem that I'm seeing right now is the BTC. If I look at the BTC, it's coming at a major resistance of that around what is that level, 1150, 11400. That is going to be good resistance because it's a 50-day moving average on the daily chart. If we go past that, I can still see a resistance right around that 11,500 and then eventually around 1200. So there is a lot of resistance zone that's coming up in this area. Okay, so please keep that in mind. There's a lot of resistance, and any weakness in BTC will have a ripple effect into the altcoins. So don't get like, you know, carried away with, hey, we are gonna go to 20,000 tomorrow. That's not gonna happen. All right, so just have a realistic expectations. The key is, if you have the realistic expectation, you will do much better. So that's the main thing. You want to have realistic expectation in life. All right. So as I said, like, you know, BTC is trying to break out, but I still see there is a resistance that's probably going to come right underneath that 12,000 mark, which is going to be around, maybe around 11,600. That I can see that, but it's going to be some resistance. So if we can go past this level and close the day, so if we close the day over that you know, that the 12,000 mark, that will be pretty significant. But we will come back to retest some levels, because there will be some retracement, and at that point it will be, for the short term, I think it will be a little bit overstretched at around 12,000 mark, because we need to have a little bit pullback in order to have a sustainable growth ahead. All right, so please keep that in mind. But I'm liking the action. There's a lot of big money that's coming into BTC as well. I see that volume is pretty nice, consistent. If I go to the is keep on coming up. Every dip that's coming up is followed by the volume. Any dip we are getting is following by the volume. So people, the smart money, what they're doing is buying the dips right now. All the smart money that's coming in, they're probably, I can kind of feel this thing, that is, I think what they're doing is buying the weakness, and maybe if they maybe selling the portion of their, like, you know, portfolio into the strength. So that's BTC. Let's cover Civic real quick. This is the one that I talked about a few days ago. So Civic is trying to break out here. It tried to make a run toward 50 cents mark and came right back. It's trying again today. Let's see if we can get some volume. We want to see some volume to pick up. But Civic, the key thing again is going to be like a lot of positive action in the market and the BTC. These altcoins are heavily dependable on the BTC price action, so we want to make sure like BTC price action is always, you know, a little bit positive. Okay, so that's keep your eye on Civic. I think there's a potential break in Civic soon. If we get the volume, it's trying. I can see that it's keep on trying that. Now it's in such a consolidation zone. Let me put the Bollinger Band. Yeah, so it's trying. You know, it's gonna happen. Let's see, but again, just because I'm saying it's gonna break does not mean it's gonna break. We trade on probabilities. That's why we put our stop losses. That's why we put our targets. I'm gonna keep on saying this. I don't have any magic ball. All right, what we do is we trade on probabilities. We have to, I try to talk very, like, you know, elementary level, because I feel like some people just don't understand those things, and I have to keep on saying that. So the breakout might come, it might not come, we might have a breakdown. All right, so but what thing you can control? So take a step back and think about it. The only thing you can control as an investor, only as let's say John as an investor, only thing John can control is how he manages how he manages like risk, how he manages trade. Only thing, that's the only, he cannot control the price action of Civic, he cannot control the price action of BTC. Only thing John can control is how he manages his trade, or how he manages account. That's the only thing he can control. And how you control it? By having a risk management strategy, having a better trade management strategy. Okay, that's how you control those things. You cannot control the price action of Civic. I cannot control the price action of Civic. No one can control it. You know, no one person can control those things. You know, just think about those things. All right, same thing with the BTC. No one person can control those price actions. So it's trying. So it's gonna. I have a feeling there's some resistance I see, but let's see how long we can get. It has created this, like, you know, this base. It has this pop up creating this base, and now it's trying to, like, you know, get out of it again. So let's see if it can get past that 50 cents mark and then make run toward that 60 cents. 58 to 60 cents. All right, first resistance probably will be around 58 cents and then around 60 cents. All right, but eventually there will be I think it have a lot of room to run if we get a positive price action in the overall market and Civic. All right guys, so that's it. I'm gonna make another video later today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Please give me likes if you think this was helpful. If you want me to keep on making this kind of content, that really means a lot to me. Post it in the comment what you want to see. If you have any questions, I reply to them pretty fast. I'm going through the portfolio analysis for the third day. People who send it to me on the third day, so I will be completing those today and replying back to you. So all right, and if you want to do those, I'm already have the email list for the subscription. So in subscription, I'm sending out the potential breakouts. The one that we are looking at right now, I already sent it out to people yesterday. We are looking at yeah, the IOTA, no, not IOTA to BTC, IOTA to okay. Yeah, so IOTA to dollar. Okay, that's what we were looking at. I think there's a break coming in IOTA as well. It's coming to a very major resistance trend line, and it's trying to break out of it. So keep an eye on IOTA. I think there's a potential break that's coming, but we need to see the volume. Volume needs to pick up. So that's pretty much it. What I give in the subscriptions is like pretty much giving you all the stop losses, you know, how to manage those stop losses, like what are the potential upside, and like, you know, how you can manage those downside as well. So that's what I am offering in the subscription service, and you know, giving that on more like, you know, usual more repetitive basis. All right, as I see it, as I do my analysis, when I do my research, if I see something that is really worth giving out to my subscribers, then I will definitely, like, you know, send it out as soon as possible. So that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, all right, talk to you soon. Bye.